What's going on, everybody? This is Devon Sage. This is Reaper Training, and y'all now listening to the Reaper Motivation Podcast. We got a long video for y'all because, as y'all know, I like to make my longer podcasts towards the end of the year, and I have been making a lot of content, so this is kind of gonna be like a broad spectrum of everything I've been missing out on talking about. But don't worry, I got all my notes written down, everything's together, and we got a lot to touch on. So first and foremost, I'm going to title this There Are No L's in This Game of Life. And the reason why I'm titling it There's No L's is because this year, as I touched on in I think it was my last podcast from last year, was I talked about the effects of kind of feeling sorry for yourself. Starting out the year, I was in I don't want to say a dark spot, but I was in a spot of non-productivity. And to put it into perspective, for one, I was about 30 pounds overweight. Two, financially, I wasn't taking care of my finances. I was making good money, but I was at the same time, I wasn't capitalizing as far as investing, setting up a savings, having contingency funds and things like that. So I wasn't in the best spot to start off the year. And to mitigate that as the year went on, I started doing different things to put myself in a different mind space to fix things, right? And that being said, the first point of order I wanted to hit on in this podcast is the power of peer pressure. So, a little idea for me, right? When I was younger, I used to feel like peer pressure was an excuse, right? I used to feel like it didn't really exist, and the reason being was when I was younger, citing like middle school, high school, I was very picky about my friends. Even now, I'm still very picky about my friends. So the friends that I had, they never pressured me into anything, right? They were just legitimately my friends, even though they did things I didn't do. For example, basically all my friends growing up smoked weed. I never smoked weed. It was never my speed. Same thing with drinking. I didn't start drinking until I was about 18. That's when I had my first drink. So it was one of those things to where I felt like when I looked at other people and they would cite peer pressure as that's why I did this, that's why I did that, I was like, man, that's just an excuse for lack of discipline, right? And for a long time, I wholeheartedly believed that until last year. And just to get it out the way, I let people in my life that, not to say that they were knocking me off my path, but they were, you kind of want to, it's a monkey see, monkey do type of world. Now, I always kind of saw myself as not a follower, as more of a leader. But the people I was around, for example, in the video I made about, not basing your life around women, that was the reason why that came about. The people I was around were kind of basing their life around getting hoes. And the thing about it is that I'm 24. If you're listening to this and you're young, our hormones is off the chain. You know what I'm saying? It's not uncommon, or it's not even unreasonable for us to want to just go out there and chase every bad thing that we see. You feel me? It's not uncommon to be on social dating apps for 2-3 hours out the day and shit like that. It's not, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just it's a part of who we are. You know what I'm saying? We have testosterone. It's just something that we're gonna do. You know what I mean? But I feel like, especially now, where the way things are with social media, we kind of lose ourselves in that, into where it just overtakes our life. And you can see that, like, you'll have friends, whenever you getting ready to go out somewhere, they'll be like, oh, you bringing hoes? Or is gonna be hoes there? We're gonna get some hoes. Or we gotta get some numbers when we out there. Like, everything is based around females. You see what I'm saying? And something that I really fuck with, I listen to AMS, which is Alpha Male Strategies, on YouTube. And what I really liked about his message is that he used to say something that's real dope, is like, when women go out, they don't base their fun around men. Like, if you ever see girls, when they go out with their friends and they go to these clubs and shit, they dancing with each other, they having a good time, they taking shots, they making jokes. You know what I'm saying? They not really focused on whether or not dudes is trying to holler or nothing like that. They live their life without the need of validation Now that's true to an extent when they go out. We all know it's a little bit different when they just, living life. But that's just something that I really wanted to encompass when I came into this year, and I didn't do that because I would notice all of my happiness at times due to the people I was around was the amount of hoes I was getting. Like if I got a bad joint, and here's why I feel like basing your life around that is, especially in today's age, is not gonna get you nowhere. Because let's say, right, even if you a real good looking dude or if you a real smooth dude, man, bagging a 9 or a 10 now, bro, is like a full-time. It takes a good amount of work as far as the texting, the games, a little playing around, and then by the time you fuck and you actually start talking to him, you're like, God damn, your personality is shallow as hell. I don't even like you. So it's just a whole bunch of work, and that's if you're looking for a relationship. Like if you're not even looking for a relationship, man, it's even worse because you're doing all this work and all this texting and all this other extra shit, and for a girl that's probably not gonna stick around your rotation, because now the way things are, these girls ain't trying to wait around for a little bit. They pushing for relationships off gate, and y'all know how I feel about that in that last video. I already said, do not let nobody bully you into no damn relationship. I ain't letting it happen. Don't let it happen. If you a goal getter, if you're a hustler, if you're out here with plans, you can't just let somebody bully you into a relationship. They're gonna knock you off your path. Book it 100%. And what I was doing was, at the beginning of the year, after a while, I started realizing, man, if I was to focus on myself half as much as I was focusing on just building up a rotation of females, I'd be in a way better position. I wouldn't even be worried about this shit. And then slowly but surely, as I started looking to better myself, for one, I started feeling a lot better. I started feeling a lot less incomplete without the need of validation and things like that from getting females. And then also I started seeing the people around me that wasn't supposed to be around me, how they were reacting to me getting better. You see what I'm saying? Like, for a good example, when I first started pursuing martial arts, one thing I noticed about martial arts, and it's natural, but men are very, very jealous of each other in general, right? Now we tend to, as men, we get on females a lot for being fake, which, trust me, having enough female friends, you'll see how they treat each other. Yeah, they can be pretty fake. But the thing about females as opposed to males is that you can have a really loyal friend as a man until you start doing better than him. Until you start doing things that you're trying to not even outcompete him, you're just trying to be a better version of you. You'll see the true colors of some of these motherfuckers. You feel me? Like, if you got 10 really solid friends right now, go out, get a new job, lose 20 pounds, get in shape, get lean, get you a bad little joint, you know what I mean, your own little girl, and see how the motherfuckers start acting. I guarantee you about 70% of the people around you wasn't really your friends. The motherfuckers get jealous of you because you're doing different. You see what I'm saying? There's a Wale song I fuck with heavy. He said they want to see you good but never see you better, and that is like the realest line that he ever said in any of his songs. It's the truth, bro. Like, they want to see you doing good. You know what I mean? If they half of a friend, they at least don't want to see your ass homeless. But at the same time, you start doing better than them or on par with them, they feel a way about that. And going back to the martial arts thing, for one, as men, what you notice with martial arts is that men always feel like, even if they've never been in a fight before, that they can handle themselves in a street fight. Just because, again, testosterone. You just feel like you can handle yourself. You size people up. I know I'm even I'm even subjugated to it, to where if I go into a room, I scope the room, and subconsciously you start thinking, I can take him, he might be a bit of an issue. That's just something that men normally do. I really feel like that's the basis of why, like, short dudes be so insecure about shit. It really don't come from females. It comes from, even if you one of them dudes that's like, oh, I don't fight, I blow to 30. Just walking into a room and knowing that everybody in that room could fuck you up is not a good feeling. It's definitely gonna make you insecure. You know what I mean? And when I got into martial arts, a lot of the dudes around me who didn't want to see me do better, that was just another thing that I noticed they'll be salty about. Like, for example, one of the people that I cut out of my life this last year, when I said I want to do mixed martial arts like MMA, he was like, oh, don't get knocked out. And I was like, that's such a hating ass thing to say. Like, what the fuck? Like, obviously I don't, like, duh, like, what, my goal is to go in there and get beat the fuck up. But at the same time, it's like, that person doesn't really want to see you be the best version of you. And it clicked in my head then. And the thing is that I'm one of those people, I try to be very observant, but that was one of those things I was like, yeah, it's time for me to, this year I need to really reconsider who I'm around. You see what I'm saying? I start losing weight. You hear those people always talking shit about your diet. Oh, he can't eat that. You know what I mean? He eat like a white girl. Some stupid shit like that. Like, you start realizing, and the thing is that it's one thing to tease people, but it's another thing to genuinely not like a path that someone's going in their life. Like, I'm not a vegan. You see what I'm saying? But if one of my close homies to come up to me and be like, hey bro, I'm thinking about trying this vegan shit, I'm not gonna be like, oh, vegans. I'm not, like, albeit I did a lot of research on it, there's a reason why I don't like vegan stuff. If that's what makes you happy, bro, and that's what you think is gonna change your life to be more healthy, then by all means do that. But you see, if I was a hating ass motherfucker and I wasn't happy about how my diet was and the fact that I don't, I don't take care of myself, then I'm gonna be salty about it. I'm gonna start making little jokes. Every time I see you eating, I don't know, what do vegans eat? Every time I see you eating a carrot with some ketchup, I'm gonna be like, man, fuck that carrot. I'm just gonna do stuff just to try to knock you off your grind with it, instead of being a supportive friend. And your friends should be supportive of you. If you're around these people, 2, 3, 4 times out the week or a bunch of times out the month, they should be supportive people. Because I say it all the time, I say it one more time, man, if someone's not supportive, they're a distraction. Point blank period. Friends, family, girlfriends, whoever, if they're not supportive, they're a distraction. You need to be, you don't have to help me, but you have to at least be supportive of what I'm trying to do with myself. Because if you're not, then what are you doing? If anything, you're just going to knock me off my path. You know what I mean? And when I started doing martial arts, especially when I started doing well in martial arts, I started seeing that. First you see the negativity, just people talking shit. Oh, don't get knocked out, don't do this. I know there was another dude I ran into that I wouldn't say we was close friends, but I used to work with him. We was kind of cool. I had my first tournament, I got 2 golds and 1 bronze. The bronze I got was in the super heavyweight division, and which is division above mine. And he was like, I saw you got bronze, so I know you lost something. I was like, man, fuck you. Like, who? But this is the type of mentality, and like I said, that's why I'm so picky about friends when it comes to men. You know what I'm saying? Because jealousy, man, they don't want to see you doing better than them, bro. They don't want to see you in better shape. They don't want to see you have more money. And that's why the friends I do have that I'm around all the time, I cherish them, because I understand it's hard to find people who really want you to do better about yourself. And this just doesn't go with friends, it goes with family too, and that's 100. You see what I'm saying? But at the same time, a problem that I found and that you're going to run into is, even though people don't want to see you doing better than them, actually going into it, fuck it, we don't go all the way out, right? I got into I don't even know if I could call it a relationship. It'd be more of like a blip or something like that. But anyhow, it was a girl I was dealing with that I decided to semi-take seriously. Didn't work out. I ended up getting the fuck out of Dodge. But she even, and this is why I say, bro, it's gonna come from all aspects. She was kind of negative to me losing weight, just making little sly comments, and oh, you going to the gym again, or oh, you eating like this, you know what I mean? You just see that, and you would think that somebody who you would try to make as your girlfriend and somebody who you're serious about would be supportive of your goals. But guess what? Had I kept her around and she kept on with that negative bullshit, guess what? I wouldn't still be training like I am now. I wouldn't be trying to get in better shape. I wouldn't be working my way down to 190. I'd be in that same position. Matter of fact, probably doing worse. You know why? Because of peer pressure. Because if you're around negativity, you're going to absorb negativity. And that's just something that comes with it. But at the same time, like I said, no one wants to miss out on greatness. So you're going to have people hang around who probably don't even fucking like you, but they're going to hang around just because they don't want to miss out on the potential of what you could be. You know what I'm saying? And you got to watch out for that. So that's something that, coming into 2021, I was aware of, but I didn't take it seriously enough. But I ain't playing with that shit no more, bro. You not on the same type time, or you distracting me, you gotta go, because I just got too much I'm looking at. And another part of that is, and I guess it goes hand in hand with peer pressure too, is social media, right? And social media is funny, right? I was listening to $1 Million Worth of Game with Kevin Gates. He was on there, and he had said something real. He was like, social media was making him depressed because he was comparing his life to other people. And that was interesting, because I was thinking about it, and I used to always be confused on why people demonized social media to the amount that they did. Don't get me wrong, there is negative aspects of social media, but for the most part, I just always thought it was dope that I can just keep up with friends from high school, or just how people are doing. I could see really funny videos. I could promote myself. I could put my own content out there. I just saw it as a positive tool, but I never actually took into account the negativity of comparing yourself to others, mainly just because when I look at social media, I know a lot of shit is fake. You know what I mean? I take everything with a grain of salt, and I just realize motherfuckers be lying. That put in perspective for me. Like, I was dealing with a somebody in the military. She was like an active duty girl, and this is a while back ago, but anyhow, I know how much people make in the military. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot. Obviously, I'm a reservist. I got a lot of active duty friends. I know how much you make. You see what I'm saying? But the way they would show themselves on social media compared to what they actually make, you would think these motherfuckers had a 6-figure job or something like that. But that ain't the case. You see what I'm saying? But not everything that glitters is gold. So because of knowing things like that, I never took social media. Like, if I saw Dirk or Moneybagg Yo with all these diamonds and shit like that, I'm not gonna go out there and be like, I need to get me a VVS chain. I'm gonna save up 4 racks and blow my whole shit to get a chain so I can flex on these hoes. Like, I never did that. But you know what? I'm not gonna, knowing what I know now about peer pressure, I would never judge somebody who felt like they needed to do that, because especially if all your friends is on that same type time too, it's normal. You know what I mean? And humans, we're social creatures, man. We're so it's so easy to fall into that realm of just falling in with the pack, and it doesn't make you any less of a person, doesn't make you any weaker of a person. It's a part of who we are as human beings. And I feel like accepting that and seeing that for what it was, I'm very cautious of social media now. Like, there's certain stuff that I would post back in the day that I don't post now. Like, I just understand it's a level of solidarity and privacy. And the big thing I learned about that was when I went public with my last I'm gonna call it a relationship, but again, it only lasted like 3 weeks before I broke up with her. But when I made it official, I started posting her, and I thought about it, and I was like, man, it should have, because I looked kind of stupid when I broke up with her. I didn't post that I broke up with her, but at the same time, I was like, you know what did I get out of promoting on social media that I was in a relationship? Like, what really came from it? Like, did I need to do that? Did it make anything better? Like, I just thought about it. I was like, man, that was kind of stupid. And then, funny enough though, there's girls that I wasn't even necessarily involved with that I just thought I was friends with, but they were salty about me getting a relationship, and it kind of put the little magnifying glass on who you call your friends too. But I was like, man, from now here on out, that social media shit is donezo. Like, it don't make no sense. And on top of that, getting subbed, like, man, if I could tell you how many times this year alone I got subbed in fucking stories and posts and things like that. I've been subbed like 100 goddamn times, and like, to the point now, like, I ain't gonna lie, if you sub me, I'm not gonna respond. I ain't gonna talk about it. I'm gonna block your ass. That's the type of time I'm on. Like, I've been blocking. I done blocked like 30 people in this last week alone. I don't fuck around no more. I'm like, I don't know. I'm keeping social media for what I'm gonna use it as a tool from here on out. You see what I'm saying? That's my same advice to y'all. Use that shit as a tool. I'm not playing with nobody in 2022. You know what I mean? And again, it just derives from, making mistakes and posting too much on there. I mean, I just saw earlier they said Steph Curry and Aisha Curry got an open relationship, and as soon as I seen it, I'm like, yo, why the fuck are they telling people that? Like, what do you get from letting everybody know that you let your wife suck dick on the side? Like, it was the stupidest thing to me. But I was like, man, we want everyone to know our business. Will and Jada, the same thing. They trending just because they won't shut the fuck up. Like, I don't know who keeps asking them these questions, but they answer as truthfully as possible. It's like, why do you have to? I don't need to know this about your life. It's your life. You know what I'm saying? So I'm using social media as a tool, man. I'm staying away from that. And 2021, that's a big thing on mine. Another thing I wanted to touch on before I get back into the dating, because dating seems to be like, whenever I put up a dating podcast, as far as on my Anchor numbers and my YouTube numbers, that seems to do the best. But I'm gonna digress for a second. I want to get into finances. I'm getting really into investing. I really think I'm gonna make a whole podcast about it on the side, but I've been getting a lot into investing, and hopefully this next year, I'm looking to buy a house. I'm looking to really expand my portfolio. I would highly recommend to you guys to look into your 401ks, not even 401ks, look into your IRAs, look into investing in ETFs and things like that. Like I said, I'm gonna touch on it a lot more in some other podcasts. I might just make a whole podcast about ETFs, retirement accounts, and commodities, because honestly, bro, if you're not prepared for the future, then it's just you're hurting yourself. And I'm glad that I've entered this idea of financial literacy at 24 as opposed to 35 or 40. You know what I mean? Thankfully, it's a little late. I wish I would have started 4 years ago, at least being more adamant about it. But now I feel like I have the information to go forward with that. But I just want to touch on that a little bit. But so now, my relationship mental going into 2021. So first and foremost, right, I touched on it in the girlfriend material video. I'm really gonna double down on this. You have to, like, it's to the point, if the girl I'm talking to isn't into fitness or taking care of herself, I'm not gonna take her seriously. And the reason being is I really thought about it, and I looked at it from a few perspectives, right? And if you're someone, let's say you're a recovering alcoholic, right? Let's say for the longest time you were addicted to alcohol. You'd wake up in the morning, 2 shots before you go to work, all that. And let's say you stop drinking, and then let's say you start talking to a woman who loves to drink, but you don't drink at all. Well, how do you think that's gonna work? You know what I mean? I feel like opposites attract, but opposite personalities attract, not opposite lifestyles. Because, let's take it to a less extreme. Let's say you're somebody who is a very secluded person. You really don't like going out and interacting with people, but your significant other loves going to events and going out to eat and doing all this, and you just really want to stay in the house. You don't like being around other people, makes you nervous or anxious. It can be a good thing if you're looking to break that habit or that mindset. But if you don't want to break that and you're content with how you are mentally, then how good a relationship will that end up being? And when I look at myself, I've come to realize, especially this year, I come to the realization that, and I won't say from here on out, because I've been on the same wave since probably about 2017, but I haven't taken it seriously in my relationships as much. But for the rest of my life, I'm going to be into fitness. I'm going to be going to the gym. I'm going to be watching what I'm eating. I'm going to be taking vitamins and fasting and drinking water and all those things. That's just a part of who I am now. It just makes me feel better. And it's just how I want to live my life. And I don't want to be around friends, family, or anybody who isn't supportive of that and doesn't do it to an extent. You see what I'm saying? Because you can be supportive of something or tolerable or something, but if you don't do it, it won't ever make sense to you. Like, for example, right, let's say with this financial literacy thing, right? Let's say you live for today and you have a bunch of friends who all they do is talk about investing in stocks and real estate and all these other things. You're just like, man, I just want to work, come home, drink, and enjoy myself. Fuck all that for the future. I deal with it when I deal with it. After a while, if you don't conform to what they're doing, you're gonna start being negative to what they are doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's just a natural human reaction to that. And then also the mindset that comes, the discipline that comes with people that's in shape and into fitness. I just love that mindset. Like, all the friends I have that love training, there's something similar about all of them that is mentally very strong, because it takes a lot of mental fortitude to watch what you eat, to pay attention to the amount of vegetables you eat, to how much water you drink, to going to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. It takes a lot of mental fortitude, a lot of discipline, and that's something that I feel like is an awesome trait, and that is an invaluable trait in friends that you want to have in your life. And going into 2021, I look at it and I'm like, can I really take a female who doesn't care about her body or care about what she eats or care about training? Can I take her seriously? And I'm like, I just don't think I can, because it's just, the lifestyle will never compute. I mean, I'll come home from work or something like that, and let's say I've been eating chicken and right now I eat chicken and protein pasta and broccoli. But let's say I just get, I've been eating that all week, and this is my last, say it's Thursday, I'm about to have my cheat day tomorrow, so I'm gonna do it today. And she's like, well, let's just order a pizza. I'm like, nah, I gotta hold on to my shit for tomorrow. If you don't have a girl who's already into fitness, it's gonna piss her off that you don't want to order a pizza and eat some sweets with her. Not saying that you won't slip up sometimes, with human beings, but how many times is too many times before it's like you're just not supportive of what I'm trying to do here? You see what I'm saying? Whereas if you get somebody who's already into that, it makes sense. If anything, they're gonna be appreciative of the fact that you're staying on your grind and you helping them stay on theirs. And that's where I'm at with it. One problem I got with that though is that when I go to the gym, I don't like talking to people. I got my headphones in. When I get on pre-workout, I'm like a crackhead. I'm like a steroided crackhead on pre-workout. When I get that shit in me, I'm like, yo, it's lit. If you talk to me wrong, I'm gonna hit you with this weight. I'm geeked up. So I don't like talk to people. And really, if I did, I feel like I probably find what I'm looking for, as far as interacting with girls in the gym. But I just don't like talking to people when I'm in the gym. But I digress. But yeah, that's one thing I'm looking at with 2022. I already spoke on it, but now it's like dead serious. Like, it's to the point where if you don't look like you go to the gym, I don't even talk to you. Like, I went out to the bar the other day, and I was getting choosing signals from like some girls, and I won't call them fat, but they weren't really in shape like that. But I was looking, I was like, you know what? Nah, I don't think she goes to the gym. I'm not hollering. Like, that's another thing. I'm being bougie as a bitch this next year, and I encourage all you guys. Don't get me wrong. Don't be delusional. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, if you like 275 and you make $20,000 a year and you 5'6", you know what I mean? Don't expect to bag no 9s and 10s. It's just not gonna happen. You know what I mean? Be reasonable with yourself. But if you hustling, if you on your grind, if you getting into fitness, you getting your bag up and you doing your investing and you're planning for the future and you're gathering assets and things like that, fuck that, bro. Think in the billionaire mindset. And I've been thinking that all this last year. To be a billionaire, to be a really financially stable person, you have to think like one. And when I thought about it, I was like, if I was making, let's say I was making $300,000 a year, would I want to be in the car with a fucking 5? Would I want to be riding around in a G-Wagon with a 5? No. Nobody would want to be in a G-Wagon with a 5. You like, you know what? My looks, my hustle, and everything else will warrant me to have a 9 or a 10. So you gotta be bougie with yourself. You know what I'm saying? And look, don't get me wrong. Everyone out there and their mama thinks they deserve one. I'm just now coming around to it because it was like I was one of those people where I felt as though, having dealt with a couple 9s, I've dealt with 10s, but I've never like dated a 10. But having dealt with a couple nines, I had already figured out that they wasn't what they cracked up to be. Honestly, the best, your best bet as far as dating wise, get you an 8 that has a really cool personality. Like I kind of like that's like the best. That's like the best thing you could do. Like they're attractive enough to where you're really attracted to them, but they also aren't too pretty to where they stuck up like a motherfucker. Which you'll find that perfect balance with an 8, honestly. And but that's just my opinion. But yeah, that's just like I'm looking at it and I'm like, you know what? I gotta think in a millionaire mindset, and that's another reason why I'm harping on this retirement funds, because millionaires and people like it, they set themselves up to where they'll never be broke again. You know, Rick Ross has his rich forever theme, and that's not something that he said. I remember the first time I heard him say that shit, I was like, man, it'd be ironic if he went broke. But what's so smart about Rick Ross and other people like Rick Ross, he calls himself rich forever, and he says he's gonna be rich forever because he built that, you know, shield up with assets. You know, the Wingstop investments, all the investments he has, the properties and things like that, all that ensures that that money, his money, will always make more money to the day he dies. So he'll be rich forever. And when I got old enough to really realize that's why he said it, man, it hit different. So I was like, yo, that's speaking, that's walking and talking and making sure that you have everything in order to where that's just a part of your life forever. You know, and that's something that I thought was really dope that he said, and I've been trying to take on that same mentality going into this next year and going forward for the next 10-20 years. You know, and the next thing I wanted to touch on is looking at yourself as a prize, right? And this is why I say going into this next year, I'm not dealing with no sub 8s. I'm not dealing with no nonsense. I'm not settling. Is because when you look at yourself as a prize, it's not so much about being arrogant. It's about people who are confident in themselves, people who value themselves, don't get taken advantage of like that. And to put that in perspective, right? If you're somebody, if you get a girl who's fine, you think, man, I'm lucky to have shorty, right? You're gonna allow her to do shit that you wouldn't let other people do because you feel like you lucky to be in that situation, as opposed to you guys on equal playing fields. Best example of that right now is Jalen Rose with Molly Corn. If y'all seen Molly is fine as hell. Molly is I'm gonna call her a straight up 10. She's super fine. No homo. Jalen Rose is a good looking dude, and he's rich, and he's tall as hell. He has a lot of charisma. But if you listen to him talk about Molly Corn before what happened, he'll talk about it and be like, I can't believe she picked me. I was looking at her the other day. It was like, wow, you really picked me. I'm like, yo, what? You could tell that he was one of those dudes that was just in shock and awe of his girl, which is, you know what? I can say it's not a bad thing, but look at what happened. Now she's leaving bro for another, what's it called? I don't know. I don't remember the name of the dude that she left him for, or she's cheating on him with. But that just came out that she's leaving him for a dude that she's working with right now. And I'm not saying that is solely because of, you know, him looking as himself under her, but I guarantee you that before that happened, before it got to the point where she's smashing her coworkers, when y'all married, I guarantee you there was a lot of shit that he should have and could have checked that she was doing that was either disrespectful or out of pocket, and he wasn't doing that. You know why? Because when he looked at her, he was like, wow, I can't believe I got her. Which is a good example of you know, having a certain type of mindset, that alpha mindset. Because I can tell you right now, I know dudes right now that ain't got 2 cents to rub together in their pocket that wouldn't allow a female to talk to them any type of way, who wouldn't allow her to disrespect them. They just have that kind of confidence to where, bitch, you ain't gonna disrespect me. He didn't have that, even as a millionaire, even as a good looking dude with charisma, who can essentially, I mean, not saying that everyone knows who Jalen Rose is. He's not like a LeBron James, but he's a famous dude. If you've turned on any sports show or if you've watched any type of sports, you know who Jalen Rose is. He can have girls who look just as fine as Molly Corn, and more than likely he probably has. Don't get me wrong, she's gorgeous, but I'm pretty sure in his 30, I think he's been around for like 40, in his 30 years, 35 years of being a pro athlete and sports analyst, he's definitely come across women who are just as beautiful as she is. You know what I mean? Probably not the same status, but just as beautiful. And he still allowed himself to, not have that mindset, and he got taken advantage of. You know what I mean? So when I look at it, where I'm trying to go in life, I'm like, you know what? I have to fully envelop myself in that mindset of supreme confidence. You know what I mean? And there's a video I made a while ago that was the turning point and not looking down on others. When I say have this confidence, that doesn't mean that you're better than anyone. I want to emphasize that. Like, that doesn't mean that you go around like, oh, look at these pissants. Like, no, don't do that. Definitely don't do that, right? Being confident doesn't mean, the difference between being confident and being arrogant is that a confident person just believes in himself. An arrogant person believes in himself and he feels like he's better than everyone else. That's the difference. You can be confident and know that I put my shoes on the same way you did in the morning. I tie my shoes the same way you tie your shoes. We're both human beings. I just know that when it's time for me to perform, I can do it. You know what I mean? That's the big difference between being arrogant and being confident. And you see that the biggest example of that is Floyd Mayweather. Floyd is very confident, but if you hear him talk, he talks like everyone's beneath him that doesn't make the same amount of money he does. Or even if they do make the same amount of money he does, they're not on his same level. That's the difference between arrogance and being confident. And I want to emphasize that. Don't feel like getting that hustler mindset means that you need to be looking down on girls who don't look that good or look good in your eyes, because just to emphasize, how you rate people is totally different. What is a 9 to me is different to you. But keep that swag to you, bro, because it mitigates all the bullshit that people will try to get over with, right? They're gonna, and this is human nature. You're gonna get away with what you think you can, and that's just who I keep away from. And next thing to touch on, in order to do that, I got 3 ways: stay fit, stay on your grind, and stay fly. Now I want to talk about fashion real quick, because I feel like fashion is one of the least or lesser talked about things when it comes to feeling good about yourself. I know there's people, this won't apply to everybody, like there's people who could wear some off-name brand. There's people that could walk around Fila and feel great, right? That's fine. I'm not saying you have to be materialistic. What I am saying is, right, if you look at rich people, everybody always cites, Bill Gates wears, $40 clothes or some shit like that, or Walmart clothes. That's awesome. But Bill Gates not in the spotlight. When you look at sports analysts, when you look at, say Grant Cardone, you look at the dudes that go on Shark Tank, they're not super flashy with a whole bunch of Gucci and shit like that, but if you notice, they look sharp, right? Their clothes are decent fitting. They don't look bummy. They don't look scruffy. That's the difference. That's the main difference I want to look at. You don't have to be a fashion star, GQ. You don't have to wear $800 fucking Tom Ford suits. None of that. But you can't look dusty. You can't look like someone just rolled you in some dirt and threw you outside. That's the difference. And it's not even about just females, right? When you see a dude who takes good, if you see a dude that's in shape and takes good care of his appearance, you take him seriously. And I noticed that mainly I've noticed that more in the Marine Corps than anywhere else. And the thing I love about the Marine Corps is that the things that they do, the professionalism that they push on them on our Marines is directly correlates to them being good in life. And something that I used to tell my juniors is, you noticed a lot of the Marines that are very good at the unit, as far as reservists, the Marines that are squared away Marines here are normally squared away outside, because what sense would it make to be mediocre here and great in the real world, or great here and mediocre in real life? They normally try to do at least both. So taking good care of your fashion, right? And like I said, just having some nice, well-fitting clothes that aren't dirty and ripped up and fucked up, and looks like you just took them out of a trash bag from Goodwill or some shit. Like you wanna be dressed not to impress, or even to impress. How your presentation looks goes a long way with that, and that's why being in shape is also so big. Because when you look at someone, if you look at someone who just dresses kind of spotty and they're overweight, you just don't take them seriously. You don't see them as important. But when you see somebody walk into a room with confidence, that has well-fitting clothes and is in shape, your whole perception, your whole perspective of them is different. And it's just, that's the reason why when you go into an interview, you wouldn't go into an interview with some sweats and a t-shirt and a white tee and some say some Vans or some shit like that. Nah, you gonna come in dressed to impress, because that presence, when you walk in, they're gonna take you seriously. And one thing I've noticed when I went on my interviews, I've become very good at interviews. When I come in, I'll notice, let's say there's other people, in the lobby for the job. I always look at what they're wearing, like, oh yeah, he ain't gonna get it more than I can. That motherfucker didn't even take the time to, make sure that shirt fit. Those look like some church pants or something like that. And it sounds arrogant, but at the same time, it's the truth. Because when you walk in there and they look at your presentation, it's like you really didn't care before you came in this motherfucker. And that's the big difference, keeping yourself, looking the way you want to feel. You got to do that. And honestly, when you do that, you get it. You get more respect from your friends. You get more respect from family. You get more respect from, the dating game. Women. All that all comes into fruition when you take care of yourself as far as looks. But yeah, man. I think I'm gonna kill it there, because I got a bunch of other points, but I'm gonna try to stretch this out to another podcast. So, just going into 2021, there are no L's, bro. Like we learn from our mistakes. We learn from the issues that we made. And I know, me personally, I've learned a lot this last year. Just from seeing, that it's not feeling sorry for myself, and understanding that whenever I fall, I can stand back up. So there's no such thing as an L, because you gotta learn from everything that you do. But man, thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna try to get some more content for y'all in the future. This is Devontae. This is Reaper Motivation Podcast. Thanks y'all for listening. Y'all have a good night.